Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Monday Lunchtime Digest for January 19, 2026. Happy Monday, Hayley.
Happy Monday, Micah.
Hey, so I hope everyone had a really good weekend. So, a lot to talk about on the agenda today. So, first of all, what I have for us, Hayley, is looking at how many uh, bills are being introduced for this session of the Oklahoma legislature. And so it looks like it's going to be approximately somewhere around 2,600 bills that are being introduced this session. And so just as we have last few years, we are going to go through and look and see which one needs to be on our radar and which ones that don't have anything to do with mental health. And then also going to be talking to our contacts to see which one out of the different organizations and associations have bills on their radar as well. So as you know, said before, we did this a couple of years ago just because it seemed like that um, mental health therapists were getting surprised by legislation that was coming through Oklahoma that was affecting us as a profession. And so we began to keep a watch on those things. And as a result, a lot of the other kind of organizations, associations, and things like that have also been more proactive in doing that as well. So we really appreciate that and want to be part of the mental health community that helps keep other mental health therapists educated about what's going on. So a lot going on for this legislative session, which starts in the early part of February. I want to say February 2nd, if I remember right, but it's coming up here. The other thing I have to talk about is Family and Children's Services and Hope Community Services announced their intent to merge. And so it's expected to take 90 to 120 days to complete the merger. It's going to be sometime this summer. So this is, if you're not familiar, Hope is a $25 million operation with 215 employees with 2 locations. And then we have Family and Children's Services. They're primarily around Tulsa. They have 183 million in their operation, 1,500 employees, 70 plus programs across 10 locations. And so they're coming together to bring mental health services here in Oklahoma City. So that's going to be really interesting to see how they are able to help more around here in the metro. And they are not anticipating any layoffs as part of this merger. So that is good, but that will be great to have them as part of our community. So, Hayley, do you have any thoughts about the merger? Anything about them?
Well, hopefully, with this merger, that means that they can the two organizations and coming together, and hopefully that means that their services can be bolstered across a wider area. And so, where Hope was serving, now maybe Family and Children's Services can serve, and vice versa. So hopefully, this will be a good way for them to catch a wider net across the state and get more folks connected to services.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, as they do this merger, there'll be a stronger organization as a result. I know a lot of organizations with grants being taken away and then given back, and then Medicaid cuts and stuff like that. A lot of organizations had really struggled, and so hopefully, these two organizations come together, make them a stronger force for mental health services here in Oklahoma. So we wish them the best. And
Absolutely.
then I wanted to discuss a little bit about this research. So this is called cognitive shuffling. And the reason why I brought this up today is just because I actually mentioned it in the session this morning before we got on. This is one of my favorite, I guess, strategies, techniques for people that are having a hard time getting to sleep. And so what cognitive reshuffling is where you just take a word. So it might be cat, something short, and then you make a word out of each letter. So for C for cat, you might say um, Kool-Aid. And then A, you might say alligator. And T, you might say tinfoil. And then you pick another, word. It might be car. And so then you pick a word that starts with a C. And so by doing that, probably what's best is to pick short words, because if you pick something long like comforter, now you have to remember how to spell comforter and what letter you're on. So probably best to do like short words. But what this is supposed to do is mimic what our brain naturally does when we fall asleep. So naturally just kind of thinks about random things, and it's supposed to mimic that and supposed to kind of counteract what may happen whenever we have a hard time going to sleep, which is a lot of stressful thoughts about the day or things like that. So this is something that's been helpful for me personally in trying to get to sleep, and then something that I give to clients as well. So just something to put in your toolbox is cognitive shuffling may help them to get to sleep. So Haley, have you used something like that or something similar to that with your clients?
I have used it personally as cognitive shuffling. It's very helpful, especially whenever I want to take a nap, maybe during the middle of the day, or maybe whenever I'm tired and have a headache. It's something that kind of relaxes and gets me drifted off pretty quickly. Which I don't have a lot of trouble sleeping, knock on wood, which is good. But every once in a while, it's helpful and just you know unwinding, relaxing, and getting that restful ease into sleep.
Yeah, yeah. Well, great. Well, Haley, what do you have for us today?
So I have an interesting study. This was actually posted on NPR, and I know Micah will be sharing that across the social media platforms soon. But this comes from a research done by the Brookings Institute. I'm sorry, Brookings Institution Center for Universal Education. And what this institution did is they looked at the potential pros and cons of utilizing artificial intelligence in the school setting for ages K through 12. And so there are other countries, such as China, that already have national standards for incorporating artificial intelligence into schools. And so, what those national standards look like is not only how should it or should it not be used, but also how do we teach AI use? How do we teach kiddos how to differentiate between, what is AI, what is not AI, and things like that? A lot of critical thinking. But the United States, we don't have any national standards. And something that I read in the article, and like I know, but it's still crazy to think about, is that ChatGPT was only released 3 years ago. Like this is very, very new technology that we're working with, even though we feel like it's everywhere. But what the institution did is, even though it's only been around for about 3 years or so, it looked at preliminary data to examine what are potential pros and cons of utilizing artificial intelligence in school. And so some of the pros, for example, for teachers, it might be helpful in generating lesson plans. It might be helpful in generating emails, taking off some of that cognitive load for students. The pros include AI can be helpful in scaffolding the instruction of reading and writing. And so, what I recommend is AI, of course, being used with a teacher. But if we're, using AI to help with writing or spelling or reading, it can help to make it can, the learning experience can be tailored for the individual using the AI. And so that way it makes it progressively more challenging. And so the kiddos are constantly being pushed and pushed and pushed to read more and more complex sentences or complex words. There's also research to suggest it can be helpful with writer's block. If a kiddo is having trouble coming up with, what is a topic that I want to write about that revolves around this homework assignment, maybe it's helpful for generating ideas. However, there are some cons as well that the study found. One of those is what the preliminary research is showing is that an over-reliance on artificial intelligence in schools is stunting cognitive growth and leading to atrophy. And so what it's showing is that kiddos who rely a lot on AI are showing a significant decrease in knowledge attained, critical thinking skills, and creativity. It also said that preliminary research suggests that it can be stunting social and emotional development. Because if we think about it, if we are chatting with AI, I know I've talked about using my chat GPT to help study languages or whatnot. Your AI is very much tailored to you. It learns about you. It learns about what you like to respond to. And so, if a kiddo is using AI to vent about, mom and dad want me to do all these chores, well, the AI is often going to be validating of that. And what the research suggests is that kiddos, and I think adults too, we need to have challenges. We need to have differing opinions in order to build empathy and also in order to learn how to self-reflect. And so it said, if kiddos are using AI for companionship, then that could basically make it to where they're not getting challenged enough, and it might reduce their ability to empathize with others or put themselves in others' shoes. And so it talked about AI being a very syncopathic technology, which means it's very much oriented towards the individual and wants to feed the individual what that individual wants and needs. And so what they're suggesting is not necessarily not using AI in schools, but if you're going to use AI in schools in order to help to foster that critical thinking, to be able to foster that creativity and that social emotional development, is instead of making it a syncopathic technology, using very antagonistic technology. And so it doesn't mean that necessarily the AI is going to argue with you or whatnot, or challenge you to a duel. But really what they encourage is, if schools are going to use AI technology, choosing more antagonistic systems where if a kiddo is talking to the AI, like it's programmed to present challenges every once in a while to the thought pattern, or if it is, asking it questions related to a school project, it intentionally leaves information out so kiddos have to um, problem solve. And so there are actually technologies that are built for school. So ChatGPT, it's not necessarily programmed to do all those things. And so ChatGPT may not necessarily be the helpful AIDs in schools, but as schools are looking at incorporating artificial intelligence technology into the school settings, they really recommended choosing the software that's really built for schools and looking at it through this lens. What is going to help our children to grow and push them, not just take off the cognitive load, because the more cognitive load we take off, the more we're going to atrophy. And the more we atrophy, then we're losing these critical skills. So yeah, really fascinating article. There's many more pros and cons to discover, but so Micah, we posting that across the platforms. But Micah, do you have any initial thoughts or reflections on that?
Oh yeah. Actually listened to this story on NPR over the weekend, and the part that stuck out to me is what you talked about. For to a large part, AI is trained to be empathetic and say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. This is too bad. Your parents, may be unreasonable by asking you to do these chores, that type of thing, and talking about how it is not helping with social skills, because a lot of times in social skills, we have a friend that says, your parents probably have, they're probably right on this. You're probably wrong. And for a friend to be able to give us that, their opinion, that push back on it a little bit, whereas AI may not really be trained in pushing back on some of our ideas and things like that. And so I think over time, we'll be able to better understand AI and be able to better program it to do that type of thing, to ask us questions and things like that. One of the things that I put in, my instructions on AI is to go through these things and be brutally honest about, your feedback and something to try to kind of get past that, trying to sugarcoat too much and tell me what I want to hear. There's a great South Park episode, that came out a few months ago, I think it was. It may be a little bit longer than that, where one of the characters was going to come up with a business idea and said, I want to develop this business. That is the greatest idea ever. Here's how you can do it. And basically the person went bankrupt because Chat GPT told them it was the greatest idea, whatever ludicrous business they had. I can't remember what it was. But yes, I think definitely we're going to have to use it, learn more about it, and use the good parts about it while as we discover the bad parts, and how can we, get past that, and everything. So yeah, it's really a great tool though. So I encourage everyone, if you haven't at least played around with AI, then get one of the AIs, if it's ChatGPT, if it's Copilot with Microsoft, if it's Grok, which is what Elon Musk's one. Gemini is Google. Get on one of those and just kind of play around with it, just so that you can get to be a little bit more used to how it works and everything.
Yeah, it is really interesting. So NPR a while back had an article. It was a quiz on AI literacy, and it basically quizzed you on, can you tell if this video is AI or not? Mm-hmm. And this really reminds me of the late 90s, early 2000s with the when everybody started having computers in their homes for the first time, and we're kind of having to learn about media literacy as we go. I feel like kids nowadays, you have the rules for the internet. We know how to stay safe. We know what a VPN is. We didn't know that, back in 1999, 2000. And so it's kind of reminds me of that era. Again, we got this newfangled technology. Everyone has access to some wonderful things, but it's trial and error to figure out what's going to be safe and not. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Hayley, what's going on at OCI?
So lots of exciting things going on at OCI. And so we've been working hard these last couple of weeks to put together our spring and summer training season. And so you can go to counselinginstitute.org. We'll be posting those dates and those registrations up soon. I'm very excited to say this summer we're going to welcome back Dr. David Pfaff. We're going to welcome back Jamie Lavecchio. And so we have some incredible addictions counseling specific supervision ethics trainings already ready to go. And so that registration will be up soon. And so our training season this year, we're going to be alternating between Fridays and Saturdays. And so our first day of training is going to be Friday, March 6th. And then we'll meet again Saturday, April 4th, and so on and so forth. But again, go to counselinginstitute.org and go there to see our save the dates. You can also send me an email, hello@edmondcounseling.com, or shoot me a text, 405-440-3034, if you would like to be added to our email blast. So every time we publish a new training, whether that's an on-demand training or an upcoming live in-person training, we send out an email blast letting folks know whenever it's available. And so if you'd like to be notified, send me an email. We'll be happy to add you to that list. Also, speaking of upcoming events, we have our Summer Super Summit that's set to take place May 6th, 7th, and 8th of this year. It is a 3-day event, so the general conference is Thursday, May 7th, Friday, May 8th. We also have our pre-conference May 6th. And so if you go to all 3 days, you can earn up to 20 hours of continuing education, including more than 10 hours of addictions counseling specific. We'll have opportunities to earn up to like 6 hours of ethics, 3 hours of supervision, strength-based, and much more. I know I'm biased because I helped to create the speaker lineup, but I think this is our best year yet. I'm incredibly excited for our keynote presenters, and so we'll probably be releasing that lineup here in the next couple of days. But before that lineup is released, my friends, we only have one more day left for early bird registration. Early bird registration for the Summer Super Summit ends tomorrow at midnight. And so tomorrow is the very last day to sign up for early bird registration. If you are an OCI member, you'll save over $140 on that 3-day registration. Again, getting all your CEUs in one place if need be. So go to counselinginstitute.org today to learn more about that, to register. You can also sign up for membership there. Membership is free for the first 30 days. And so you can get that free membership, get that discount, even though the membership would expire before the summit. You've already paid for your ticket, so you already got that membership rate locked in. If you already have been a member, it's only $50 a year to renew, and that pays for itself and how much money you save for registering for the summit. So you can go to counselinginstitute.org today to register. We also have new trainings up on Oklahoma Counseling Institute's website. So go to counselinginstitute.org, click that CEU tab, and you can find our on-demand course catalog there. We had about 6 more hours this last week. I want to add probably 6 or 9 more this week. We are filling up that catalog quickly. And so over 80 courses are available on demand, over 240 hours of Oklahoma Board approved CEs. And so go to counselinginstitute.org today to register. And so that's what's going on at OCI. Oh, no, wait, we have one more thing. I forgot to make a banner for this, but I'm very happy to announce our 3rd annual town hall. And so we're having our legislative town hall on February 4th at noon. And so we'll be welcoming quite a few organizations. So far, we have 6 organizations represented across Oklahoma. I think we have 7 or 8 panelists right now who plan to join us. And so what we're going to be doing is talking about upcoming legislation that might affect mental health in Oklahoma, as well as what can we do about it. And so we're going to have an agenda item of 10 bills. And so that being said, if you work in mental health or you're in the mental health field and you have a bill that you feel like we should be paying attention to or discussing, please send me an email, hello@edmondcounseling.com, shoot me a text, 405-440-3034. Let me know what bill is on your radar, and then I'd be happy to add it to the agenda. As I said, we're going to be coming up with an agenda about 10 bills to talk about. That town hall will be free. It is open to everyone. And so you can go to counselinginstitute.org soon to register. Or you can send me an email, hello@edmondcounseling.com. I'm happy to put you on the registration list. But again, that's going to be Wednesday, February 4th at noon. And I am very excited for this annual event. I know you are too, Micah.
Yes, I'm very excited about it as well. And we have a lot of great people that have already committed to being there and to be able to tap into their knowledge that they have from their different organizations will just be invaluable. So really encourage people to sign up and come join us.
Absolutely. And so I think that's all I have going on with OCI. Do you want to talk about Edmond Counseling, Micah?
Sure, absolutely. So Edmond Counseling and Professional Development. I think people know that we have Smart Recovery, that is our free support group for people that are dealing with addiction. We have Family and Friends, which is Smart Recovery's version of Al-Anon. So if it's a family or a friend that has somebody that is dealing with addiction. Also, we have our chronic pain support group, And then also starting on the 29th of this month, we are going to have our relationship uh, support group. The ending of the ending
Relationship
of a
guide.
relationship support group. So it's for people going through a divorce or other significant relationship for them to be able to come. And so you can find out about all of our free support groups by going to edmondcounseling.com. Right there at the top of the page, there's a tab that says free support groups, and find out about all the different ones. So if you have a client or a family member or yourself that you feel like could benefit from a free support group, then if it's in one of these areas, send them our way. We're really happy to be able to provide this service, and our clinicians are great in that they are willing to provide the service for people in the community. And all these support groups are not only in person, but also online. So there is a virtual option that if your client is not able to come into Edmond to attend the group, then they can attend virtually. So would love to have people join us. Of course, we also have our mental health services where we see children, teens, and adults, both in person and online. And so our therapists have some openings right now. So if you need to refer out, then certainly check us out to see if we might be a good fit for you that way.
Absolutely. And you also offer career assessments too, Micah?
Yes, we also do career assessments, and you can learn more about that at our website as well, edmondcounseling.com, to learn about the career assessments. And so we use some evidence-based measures to help people identify what their interests are, to give them a better direction on how they can continue their research into a career. So we don't, at the end of it, we don't say, you need to be a firefighter, but instead we say, look, these are your interests, and here are the careers that go along with that interest. Here's how you can find out more about them and give them a better direction on something that might, a career that might be helpful for them. So we are really happy to provide that service as well. So if you have a client or family member that could benefit from that, again, send them our way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we're talking about all the things that we're doing. So I guess now we'll talk briefly about something that we're not doing. So right now we're putting a pause on Whimsical Wednesdays. So we've had such a great time doing those, going out to different places and meeting with people. And for right now, we're just going to pause that and find other ways to be able to meet and connect with people. And so it has been a great thing to do. But if you have on your calendar, we had, I think, the first Wednesday of every month is whenever we were doing a Whimsical Wednesday. And if you had on your calendar something for February, then go ahead and clear the date. You don't have to save it for us. We're going to find other ways to be able to connect with clinicians. So Whimsical Wednesday on pause for now. We thank you so much to the people that came out and joined us for Whimsical Wednesdays.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So, Hayley, who is our winner for today?
So our winner for today is Prudence Watson. Yay, Prudence.
Hey, Prudence, congratulations. So what did Prudence win?
So Prudence has won a free on-demand course with Oklahoma Counseling Institute.
Hey, congratulations, Prudence. And so how can people be like Prudence, Hayley?
So you can be like Prudence by doing one or all three of these things. You can like this post, you can share this post, or you can comment your answer to today's question. Every time you do one of those three things, not only do you help us grow, you help us be seen by others, but you also get entered into the drawing for next week's prize. And so Prudence, send me an email, shoot me a text, let me know what course you would like. And if you'd like to be like Prudence again, you can answer today's question. Today's question is, Micah, what is your theme song? If you could have a theme song for your life, what would it be?
I think I know that my wife would be able to get this like right off the bat, and I know that she's probably out there could tell you. So my theme song would probably be "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor. Being a kid growing up in the '80s, there was all the Rocky movies, and one of my very first memories as a young child was going to go see Rocky with my dad. Actually, I think it was Rocky 2, actually. And him afterwards going out to some diner with him and my brother and talking about how Rocky persevered and all this other stuff. And so that is one of my core memories of my dad looking up to Rocky because of his perseverance. And so then Eye of the Tiger is my theme song throughout my life. So how about you, Hayley? Yeah, what is yours?
That's really sweet. What a great memory to be tied to it too. I'm sure that listening to that song is inspiring for multiple reasons. That's awesome.
Yeah. So what's your theme song, Hayley?
Mine's probably not as insightful. It is a Green Day song called "The Last of the American Girls." And so "Last of the American Girls," the lyrics are, she She puts her makeup on like graffiti on the walls of the heartland. Like she's very much a very politically involved and very rebellious person in this song. And so I listened. That album came out my senior year of high school, and that song stuck with me all the way into my 30s. And so, if I ever need like ever feeling defeated or ever feeling like sometimes, especially with the political climate as it is, it's easy to feel defeated. So I like to put on that song, and it reminds me that I still have a voice and I still have power, and there's still things I can do to protect myself and loved ones. And so I like that song a lot.
Oh, fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
And so we'd love to hear from you what your theme song is. If you had to pick a theme song for your life, put it in the comments below. If you don't have a theme song per se, you can put a song that you really like to be entered into the drawing. So any comment that you put in there enters you in. Also, whenever you like and share, that also enters you in. So you can enter multiple times to be a winner. And we thank everyone supporting us every time that you like, share, post, anytime that you tell a colleague about us, anytime you attend one of our on-demand trainings or in-person workshops. Every time you do any of those things, then you're helping to support the mission of providing quality continuing education in Oklahoma. And we thank you guys so much for that.
Yes, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for joining us at the Whimsical Wednesdays and watching our Facebook Lives. We appreciate you.
All right, everyone, have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.